the main reason, that also you see, momentarily changing. So that is the reason it must causes. Among the causes, substantial causes and cooperative causes. So cooperative causes like eye consciousness, the eye organs are cooperative causes. But substantial causes is continuation of consciousness. So therefore, the human mind, cooperative causes the human body. But the luminosity,
the luminosity, the
luminosity,
luminous
awareness, the ability of awareness is the quality of mental consciousness. So that must come similar causes at the time of conception. Right. Conception. Actually, I want to know at the conception, at the mixing semen and the blood, egg. So can you say 100%? As soon as you see these two things mixed, their life 100% sure will develop.
No.
Or sometimes may not.
No.
Sometimes may not.
Sometimes not.
Then
Sometimes not.
It creates one question. There must be some third factor. So physically, same case, mixed. No other defection, right?
Defects.
But it's the same sort of condition. Sometimes it eventually rotten or something. Right? Some then develop
life.
So in that case, the third factor. That's I think those sort of school of thought is who have the concept of rebirth. There's consciousness enter. Then life start. Now here consciousness, different level of consciousness, the subtle consciousness, the previous life, at the time of death, all grosser level of consciousness dissolved. So only the subtle consciousness, most inner subtle consciousness remain. That depart from this body, and another intermediate state body, not like this solid body, but very light body, have you see these sensorial experiences. Then when you see the opportunity come, they here yesterday Kishla you mentioned karma. Karma also is a very important sort of factor. But another factor is desire. At the time of death,
attachment to self. So attachment to death, attachment to embodied existence.
So that leads seeking one new body. Then what kind of body? A new body. Now karma involved.
So one cannot even from the Buddhist point of view attribute to karma the simple natural process of birth being followed by another birth. That cannot be attributed to karma.
Here I said that I was being very clear. The semi pembudu jadi korkore jul tene embrace karla in chuma zag nibati so jul tene chumores jul nibati ot kares ngame jul tene chumores ta darwin kes korshedo.
So for example, there's a very explicit statement in Shantideva's text, which is a 7th to 8th century Buddhist thinker, where he talks about how if you look at the origination of things, the fact that diversity of the things that we see in the world can only be understood in terms of their own corresponding causes and conditions. And it's, very similar to the kind of evolutionary kind of idea, that there's nothing to do with karma.
So then,
and then, however, he specifies that when it comes to experience of pain and pleasure, happiness and suffering, there karma plays a role in the causal process.
So experience is part of mind, mental experience. So it is sort of substantial cause, must be something connected with mind. So karma theory now here involved. So in any way, so that's the reason the mental substantial cause must be similar nature. The matter's substantial cause must be same nature at the beginning of Big Bang, even before. Today, our sort of body's ultimate substantial sort of causes, its continuation must be before Big Bang.
Big Bang.
And another Big Bang, beginningless.
So I guess where as a scientist I would have profound difficulty is with two ideas. One is the idea of
I usually make sort of addition. Scientists up to now
Science
should not say scientist.
Okay.
Another sort of century, 2 centuries, 3 centuries, this scientific thinking, this scientific mind maybe you see differently.
Yeah.
quite possible. So science has this ability, we never accept anything as absolute, so we constantly change and revive as better data becomes available. But right now, science has no way of explaining how, so the subtle mind is one thing, but how memories from my previous life can be, you die, that's it, you're dead, you're gone, your brain is dissolved into its constituent atoms. How can individual memories that we believe are coded in the brain, how can they survive the death of the brain? We have no ways to explain that. For us right now it's magic. It's like this cartoon where you have a, now a miracle happens and essentially my memory is transformed to hyperspace and then, a child that's born 10 years from now has my memories. We have no way to explain it. I mean, for us it's pure magic.
As far as up-to-date sort of scientific way, certain sort of limitation. So okay, you carry that, and some sort of mysterious things happen. Then I usually telling you some my Christian friend. I think I mentioned before or not
Yes, correct.
the Buddhist business side.
Oh.
So like that. So you can say, oh, that's your Buddhist business. Don't bring in our sort of laboratory.
Holiness, I have a question of clarification. Yesterday we heard 2 times that there is apparently also the notion in Buddhism then that energy is bound to mind and that through this fluidity there is some combination of material and mind always going together. And now you said there is a stream of consciousness which is always there. And then you said there is the notion of reincarnation. So that means information, concrete information needs to go away. Now in our Western mind, the idea of energy or pure consciousness, light, implies that there is not concrete information traveling, but just like pure light. So how do they relate?
True. So that's true. That they are the lungsim 다 시바 참여가 누잖아요. 다 지다 시바라고 주잖아요. 양 코로코로 셴벨룽도 와. 룽스는 아주 지다야 에서도 쓰기 메시다. 그 내는게 에너지 세대기. 그래서 요 니버티 에너지 간으로 되는 시. 시베 유지하게 되거든.
So that's true. So even in the gross levels of experience of consciousness, there's some element of energy and kind of mobility. And so similarly, so His Holiness, although in the text it's referred to as vayu or wind, but it's better characterized as some kind of energy. So even at the subtlemost level, yes, there is that energy.
So now, in the most subtle level of mind, also you see very similar sort of subtle level of energy. That always will go together.
Your Holiness, I want to go back to the question of the subtle body, which you have talked about on several different occasions. Sometimes it's Buddhist business, but now it seems to be spilling over a little bit into scientific business.
We are interfering now.
So we know from the Buddhist tradition that there are certain physical practices that are said to influence the subtle body. We also know that there are certain types of interventions like acupuncture, which are said to operate on maybe not exactly the subtle body, but energy systems which may be relevant to the subtle body. And serious Western neuroscience has begun to investigate those phenomena. There's a very rigorous beginning of research on those kind of phenomena. So if we know that physical practices can influence the subtle body, one question is whether the direction goes both ways. That is, does the subtle body influence the gross body? If the gross body can influence the subtle body, does it go both ways? Is it bidirectional?
This moment